So I'm gonna film a little bit of it. Painting the motor now. I'm a big fan of the Black Widow from Harbor Freight. I know I don't like Harbor Freight, but you know what? It's hard to beat this paint gun. So we're gonna start off with a black acid etching primer, so that way the paint's got something really good to hold on to. So yeah, nice even strokes, and yeah, sorry, every paint guy's gonna hate me right now, but you know what? That's okay, because I'm getting results. You know what? Just for the purists. There, how was that? So I got all the intake stuff masked off, and nothing I hate more than someone who doesn't tape off their valve train and gets paint on that. Not that it really does anything, it's just a pet peeve. So we're not trying to cover every single spot 3 or 4 times. We're just trying to get a base primer down on this. It's got an acid in it. It etches into the metal and burns anything off, any oil or water that's stuck in the porous cast iron, and so that way we can get a nice good stick for the paint. And that gives you an idea of what I'm doing there. Well, we got the first step done. Etching primer is on. It's looking pretty good, man. I almost want to leave it, but we got a way cooler color that's about to come out. We also took the front motor mount off because I didn't want to have any nooks and crannies, so we're painting that separate on here. And yeah, so you're gonna want to see this paint color that's coming up. It's gonna be awesome. And here we go with the paint color. This is a custom PPG, let's see, charcoal gray, metallic. What a beautiful color. Can't wait to see it on there. Shout out to Andy's Automotive Paint in Visalia, California. Very nice guys. They set me up with this and made this custom engine enamel for me. So let's get this all mixed up. We're ready to go. We put a hardener and an activator in it. So we're going to mix this up and get it poured in. But I'm not going to show that because I need a couple of hands. Alright, we got a little test on this piece. It is looking fantastic. Let's go spray it on here and see what it's going to look like. What a sparkle. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Once we get a bunch of coats on here, I'll put it in the inside and we'll get a really good look at it. But that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm stoked. Sorry, I'm sounding like a nerd right now. I'm loving this right now. Alright, we got our paint on. And man, what a color. I hope the camera can do justice to what it is, but what a color. Love it. I'm excited for it. So we're gonna let this dry overnight, and then we're gonna start bolting on accessories, and then we're gonna put on our transmission. So sneak peek to the transmission that we're putting on it. We're gonna get into that later. But yeah, we're gonna let this sit, and then tomorrow we're gonna bolt on some accessories. Alright, I figured I'm just going to do a little rundown sort of thing. It's so much work, so much fiddling. I don't have time to hold the camera for everything, so I just went ahead and got it all done. This thing is gorgeous. Let me give you a quick little run around tour of what I've got going on here. Loving how it turned out. So this is a All American Billet Serpentine belt setup. It went very well. I had a couple of things, little hiccups. I'll be honest, slightly disappointed with the customer service. They said they'd call me back, never did. So I had to spend hours figuring it out myself. I did have one problem where the book told me the issue, the distance to set the water pump pulley mounting bracket, how deep to set that. The book says 365 from this edge to the end of the pole of the rod, I guess. Yeah, from here to there. But that was not the case for me. This is what I did, and this is a better way to measure, I think. If you're looking at the water pump where it tapers, that I did 11/16 from there to there. Not judging off of how far the rod goes out, because the rod can go out the back side of the water pump. So that's not a good way to measure it. So here is a better measurement. 420, yep, perfect number. From here to there, or 11/16 from here to the end of that taper on the water pump housing. And then, so that was number one issue. I had to figure that out because when I put it together to mock test, it was like, I don't know, almost 3/8 of an inch off. It was a lot. Maybe 300 thousandths, more like 300 thousandths. So it was off. And so then I had to take the whole thing apart, take the water pump back off, which I wasn't happy about, adjust that, put it back on, and I would not nailed the first time, got it right. Number two, the bushings that they gave me here for mounting the adapter plate were wrong, so I had to make my own bushing, which that's all right. It'll kind of bug me that it's not polished because I don't have a way to polish, but I just cleaned it up as good as I could with emery cloth. And so my measurements were, if you look at their directions, they have all of this stuff, 179, 166, 1515, 1475. For me, my application, I needed 2 of the 179s and 2 of the 166s. So I made an extra one of each of those. And that was the only issue I ran into with this kit. Everything else worked out just fine. Looks really nice. One thing I would change about it, I would add a second idler pulley here. So that way I can put a longer belt on it to get more surface area on the crank pulley. That's something I would change about this, just to get maybe the belt coming up here to get 2-3 inches more of contact surface. So if we could get that belt to go all the way up here and around, that would do a lot better. We got good contact with the alternator. I think that should do fine. We're gonna have more than enough for the AC compressor. That's going all the way around. But yeah, I wish there was another pulley here. I think that would have been a better design there. But all in all, you know, it looks beautiful. It's pricey. It's about $4,000, but it's nice. And you know what? You're already gonna have to do a better alternator bracket, because originally I had a generator, and then power steering, and then the AC compressor, all that stuff. You know, you're already, by the time you get that all figured out with a V-belt, you're going to be halfway to doing a Serpentine. And Serpentines are just better. They last a lot longer, more reliable, and whatnot. So that turned out good. So again, I'm All American Billet. That went pretty well. And then there's going to be an external power steering reservoir to be hooked up to it, so that you just do yourself. And then we did a John Mummert aluminum intake. We put that on there, and I had my neighbor Scotty, he polished it all up for me, so that way we can kind of get it close to this polish. So it was a really rough cast. You can kind of see what it looked like before, but a whole lot rougher. So then he went in through, polished all that up. And then the original valve covers for this motor, he got those polished up. I will be taking the paint and kind of filling in inside the lettering here in these lines, and just to give it a little more accent. I think that's going to look good. So when I get some time with the little paintbrush, I'm going to do that. That's going to turn out good. What we got going on in the back here, I had GearStar build me a transmission for this. I'm not a transmission guy, but I hear the name GearStar everywhere. Motor Trend does work with them, and you know what? Motor Trend's pretty good at what they do, so I've never done business with them, so we're going to give this a try and see how it goes. But I mean, Ryan over there was a big help, and he got me set up with this. So they built this transmission for this engine, and so I gave them horsepower specs, camshaft, all that stuff, so they can build all the internals for this engine. So I told them I'm guessing 325, maybe 350 horsepower. So they built this transmission for that. And then we also figured out what tire size, what rear end is going to go in it, so that way they can get everything figured out. So this transmission is not just I pulled it off of some Chevy and we're going to throw it on there. No, this is built for this truck, for this engine. It's going to be very nice. And then this adapter plate system is pretty nice. Let me go find who did that. That was, so I bought it through, yeah, so this kit was purchased through Speed Gems. So that, yeah, GearStar set me up with it. I said, hey, this is the motor I've got, this is the transmission I want. Make it happen, because sometimes it's easier to just pay someone to figure all that out for you. But yeah, so Speed Gem set me up with this. It's aluminum plate, and so then one of the things is there's a bolt. You put this plate on top of it because you need to put the studs here to mount to the transmission, but there's a bolt that goes into the engine here, and then you put this plate on top of it. And then, let's see, there's a spacer adapter to go from the crank to the Chevy flex plate. That wasn't quite right. I had to put it in the mill and drill the countersink in where the bolt goes into the crank. I had to drill the countersink in that adapter 1/4 of an inch deeper, because the bolts weren't long enough. So it was easier and cheaper for me to just drill those down a little bit than it was to get a longer bolt. So I went 1/4 of an inch deeper on that one. Let's see, what else have I got going on? So yeah, they built this transmission for this truck, for this engine, and it's going to run nice. And then it also came with GearStar sent me a transmission cooler to put with it. The adapter plate, it came with a new gear reductor starter, so that's going to spin up fast. It came with a new dipstick tube, and then the bushing, and that's pretty much it. So we've got all that. So this thing, I've got one more thing coming. I might put that in a separate video. But what we're going to be doing for fuel spark and shifting is we're going with the Holley Sniper 2. So that's going to be showing up pretty soon here. So I'm going to put that in a separate video so you can see that. But yeah, this is just a video on doing a 4L60 and a Serpentine belt setup on this engine. And the paint. Man, that paint is just beautiful. And it looks really nice on the transmission. So it's got all that sparkle in it. It's pretty. So this is probably by far the prettiest thing I've put together yet, and this is my first attempt at a Y-block, so I think I did all right to start off with. So yeah, there it is. It is Friday night. I am tired, and I'm gonna go home, relax, and yeah, probably edit this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.